Hey there, it's been a while. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll be grateful to you.
The Bold and the Beautiful Monday, January 27th update. Ridge and Taylor step up. Sheila the Wrecking Ball. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers update for Monday, January 27th, reveals that Ridge Forrester and Taylor Hayes will step up for Steffy Forrester when she needs to express her frustration. Steffy will divulge a dilemma relating to the Finnegan family, thus she may talk about Jack Finnegan's history of adultery and Lee Finnegan's lack of trust. Since Steffy's so delighted about her parents getting back together, she desires Finn could experience the same joy. However, Steffy may accept that it's a different set of circumstances and point out Finn doesn't have big hopes for his parents reconnecting. Of course, Steffy may at least wish that Jack and Lee could work through the residual tension, for the sake of holiday gatherings if nothing else. Lee and Jack might be making some progress now that the DNA results have backed up Jack and Poppy Nozawa's account. Lee was finally regretful for all the paternity accusations and now knows Jack never strayed with Poppy. That doesn't undo the damage Jack created with all his dishonesty surrounding Sheila Sharp, but Lee appears eager to focus on the future instead of the past. Lee made amends with Poppy and may be willing to be nicer with Jack now. That's wonderful news, but Jack and Poppy will still have reasons to be nervous when they talk at Il Giardino. It looks like Poppy and Jack will share a table while they discuss something they're still hidden from Lee. BNB hasn't verified the true name of Luna Nozawa's father, but the show's obviously setting up Finn as the top bio dad contender. Regardless, Jack may be part of Poppy's cover-up based on the glances he was giving her in Lee's office. Once Poppy and Jack have this secret Il Giardino talk, it'll offer Sheila a chance to butt in and ask updates. Sheila will quiz Jack and Poppy, so she may raise an eyebrow over this shady encounter and wonder what they're up to. Will Sheila listen from around the corner and finally understand there's a secret that concerns Finn? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest Sheila will undoubtedly keep her eyes and ears open, so we'll bring you more predictions on the wrecking ball she might become in this storyline. Here's why Bold and the Beautiful Steffy should give up on her childhood fantasy. Is it time for Steffy to grow up and move on? Steffy is a grown lady with a sizzling marriage and job on the Bold and the Beautiful. Sure, her career is somewhat stopped at the moment due to a coup attempt, but she's still the it girl of Los Angeles with plenty of friends. Steffy also has a childhood fantasy that she needs to let go of. Nostalgia bubble Steffy has all that she wants. But it's not enough. She also wants her parents to get back together. Steffy is elated that Taylor and Ridge have gotten closer than ever. Once again. She doesn't comprehend that Ridge only reunites with Taylor when he's irritated or bored with Brooke. Taylor is his second choice, not his first. Yet, Steffy can't remove the rose-colored spectacles. She believes that her father is the right man for her mom despite his many shortcomings. She also feels that her family is better together. Her sense of nostalgia and need to stick it to the Logans has developed this thought in her head. Steffy even changed her early history. She says that Ridge wasn't around for most of her upbringing when, in truth, it was Taylor. Steffy forgot that Brooke loved and reared her together with her father. Meanwhile, Steffy was worried that her mother was dead. She didn't always have the small beautiful family that she constructed in her head. In addition, she places her parents on a pedestal and makes excuses for them. Taylor abandoned her kids when they needed her the most because she couldn't handle watching Ridge with Brooke. Time to move. Sorry to bust Steffy's sentimental bubble, but it's time to move on. She needs to have a reality check regarding her parents. Instead, she's fascinated with the prospect of her mom being second best. That's an insult to her own mother. Steffy should take a page from Hope's and demand better for her mother. She should also quit offering excuses for her father. She has trauma from her parents' tumultuous relationship. Steffy did admit the moments when Ridge played both ladies for decades. However, she still places him on a pedestal. In her imagination, she invented this childhood fairy tale where her parents were happily married for years, and they raised her. Unfortunately, her interpretation of the past is a lie. Sheila shot Taylor, and Ridge ended up raising them. Eventually, the youngsters were sent to boarding school. This is a divergence from the idea that Steffi developed in her thoughts. It appears like she is trying to recreate a childhood she never had. And she's rewriting history to create a picture-perfect ideal about her parents, even if they're toxic. Taylor has an uphill battle if she wants to keep Ridge on Bold and the Beautiful. Taylor has her man on Bold and the Beautiful, but can she keep him? Taylor is finally living the moment she's dreamed of for years on Bold and the Beautiful. She's finally reunited with Ridge and rekindling their epic love tale. Ridge has stated he's done with Brooke, considering her decision to take the CEO post at Forrester Creations as the ultimate betrayal. But in the soap business, words like never and done are rarely fixed in stone. Taylor's dream come true. For now, while Taylor might feel like she's on top of the world right now, she'd be wise not to get too comfortable. Ridge and Brooke share a history as solid as the Forrester Mansion's foundation. If there's one thing we know, it's that Brooke always finds a way back to Ridge's heart, even when it seems impossible. Brooke's power play. Brooke may be down, but she's never out. Ridge's wrath over her choosing the CEO post derives from his idea that she deceived him, but when the truth comes to light, the tables could turn. Brooke isn't utilizing her new status for personal benefit at all. She's plotting to recover Forrester Creations for the family. Once Ridge eventually stops fuming long enough to listen to Brooke's side of the tale, he'll discover she's been battling for his legacy all along. And when it happens, Taylor's little pink bubble might just break. History has demonstrated that Ridge has a hard time refusing Brooke once she turns on the charm and makes her case. Their connection is magnetic, unshakable, and frankly, too dramatic to cease. Brooke's determination and savvy have won Ridge back more times than we can count, and this time is unlikely to be any different. Plus, she has destiny on her side. Can Taylor beat the odds? Taylor's love for Ridge is evident, but love alone might not be enough to achieve her happy ending. Brooke's blend of persistence, charisma, and long history with Ridge gives her an edge that Taylor can't simply overcome. Taylor may have Ridge in her arms for now, but keeping him there will require more than just hope. Sheila's run-in and Daphne's charm. Tune in to discover more about the drama happening in Los Angeles. Poppy and Jack while Daphne puts her charm to work at Forrester Creations. Tune in next week so you can watch all of the action in Los Angeles. Weekly Recap Monday, January 20th. BNB was preempted for the inauguration. Tuesday, January 21st, episode 9446. Lee doubled down with Jack and Poppy regarding Luna's paternity.
Liam got wary of Bill, while Bill hid Luna. Wednesday, January 22nd, episode 9447. With Steffi's guidance, Finn made a realization about himself and his parents. He didn't believe his parents would ever reunite the way Steffi's had. Liam begged Bill to come honest about his recent solitude, but Bill stood firm. Incensed, Lee gave Jack a paternity test because she wanted to know the truth once and for all. Thursday, January 23rd, episode 9448. Hope and Carter did everything it took to get Daphne Rose on board at FC. Bill and Luna discussed their pasts, and she stated she didn't see anything of Tom in herself. Back at Forrester, Steffi delighted in the fact that her plans seemed to be working. Friday, January 24th, episode 9449. Carter and Daphne secured their deal for Forrester. But afterward, she and Steffi schemed about taking the company back. Lee read Jack's paternity results, and she was startled to hear he wasn't Luna's father. Next week's Breakdown Monday, January 27th, episode 9450. Sheila causes a run-in with Jack and Poppy at Il Giardino. Steffi gets supported by Taylor and Ridge over familial problems with the Finnegans. Tuesday, January 28th, episode 9450. Lee shares to Finn her anxiety regarding Jack's adultery. Ridge and Taylor make it all about family for Steffi and Finn. Wednesday, January 29th, episode 9452. Finn obtains a surprising past while coping with the conflict between Poppy and Luna, and they'll get honest about paternity and family. Thursday, January 30th, Episode 9453 Ridge asks Steffi and Daphne to keep it clean with Carter and Hope. Friday, January 31st. Episode 9454 with Steffi's blessing. Daphne Rose puts her charm, magic, and nose to work with Forrester Creations and Carter Walton. Fans weigh in on whether Bold and the beautiful Finn could really be Luna's dad / Fans concluded that if Poppy slept with an incredibly young Finn and Luna was the result, it would be terribly dreadful. Lee is on the edge of knowing if Jack is Luna's father on the Bold and the Beautiful. He argued he was not that much of a cad that he would have slept with her sister Poppy, but she compelled him to take a paternity test anyhow, and several fans feel he isn't the bio dad. One popular fan idea that's been floating around is that Finn, Lee's son, is the father, but many have contested the truth, especially because of its disgusting connotations. The math is rather wonky. One fan on X, formerly Twitter, commented to the fan speculations about Finn and stated, Finn is probably in his mid-30s, 35-36. Luna is maybe 21-20 seconds. If Finn was her dad, he'd have been 15 at the age of conception. That would be statutory rape. Yuck. Hashtag bold and beautiful. A quick look at IMDb reveals that Novlin was born in 1986, making him currently 38. IMDb also indicates that Lisa Yamada, born in September, is 22. So the fan got very close with Novlin being around 18 when Luna was purportedly conceived 20 years ago. That kind of teeters on the border of being statutory on Poppy's part, but is still awful to think that she'd have slept with her nephew, let alone his being a teen. And Yamada's portraying Luna a couple of years younger than her real self, so odds are Finn is also equally younger, taking us closer to the original figure of age 15. Another fan on X concurred with the ick factor and wrote, if Finn is Luna's father, Poppy groomed Finn. She had known him since he was a baby. She's his aunt. Just the concept is gross. I hope they don't go there. A Finn reveal could cost the show viewers. Another X-follower posted a hilarious clip from Saturday Night Live, in which the doll Barbie tells her doll sister Skipper that she's really her mother and captioned it, exclusive hashtag bold and beautiful sneak peek. Luna finds out Finn is her new daddy number 3. It perfectly illustrates just how bizarre and surreal it would be if Finn turned out to be the bio daddy. The hysterical fan replies kept flowing, and when a separate viewer on X tweeted a gif of Jim Carrey's Dumb and Dumber character nearly puking up, adding, "So is Luna's father Finn?" Hashtag bold and beautiful. One fan attacked the show's creator by posting, hashtag bold and beautiful. Bradley Bell is sick enough to make Finn Luna's father. Across the board, fans grow worried that this might be the case, and many are prepared to stop watching if that happens. You don't know Jack. The bold and the beautiful 2 scoops for the week of January 20th, 2025. Has your week been brave and beautiful? Did you go full throttle forward with a plan even knowing it wasn't sensible? Did you take a try at confirming your long-held suspicions? Did your not being a father trigger a sunrise? These and other situations face the Forrester Logan Spencer Walton Finnegan Ozawa clan this week. Lee thought she had the ace in the hole on the bold, and the beautiful look at the cards we've been dealt. Scoopers. Steffi's doubling down on her plan to have Daphne lure Carter away from Hope, but it isn't very well thought out. Meanwhile, Bill divulged nuggets from his upbringing, and we finally heard for ourselves why Lee has loathed Poppy for so long. Luna's paternity also came up again for some reason, but Jack not being her daddy could imply the reality is fantastic. Let's scoop about it. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Steffi was smug, certain that using Daphne to break up Hope and Carter would result in Steffi retaking Forrester Creations from Carter. Okay, but how? As I said in my last column, Hope dumping Carter does not at all mean that Carter would suddenly decide he doesn't want to run the company anymore. This is all based on Steffi's argument that Hope called the shots, but that rationale is incorrect. It was Carter who came up with the LLC idea, based on the fact that Steffi, Ridge, and Eric rejected his suggestion to go into mergers and acquisitions. Sure, hope for the future being removed weighed into it. But even if there had been no hope, Carter still would have felt sidelined enough that he probably would have attempted a takeover move regardless. So even if Daphne and her fragrant scarves succeed in enticing Carter away from Hope, there's little certainty that Steffi could win the design house back that way. It's only because Steffi believes that Hope pulled the strings that Steffi feels her plan will work. It won't, but I guess that's going to be the fun of seeing it not work. And subtlety is not in Daphne's wheelhouse, is it? She came on so strong with Carter that her scarf should have transformed into a red sign. Another component of Steffi's plot has been to go back to work at Forrester. Ostensibly, so she may be at the ready when Carter decides to throw the keys back over to her. But that doesn't actually make sense, either. And what happened to Zend acting double agent for his adoptive family? Not to mention, where did RJ disappear to? He would be dab in the heart of this dispute between his half-sisters. Finally, there's the supposed seduction itself, triggered by the assumption that Carter and Daphne will be spending long hours collaborating on scents for Forrester. But will they? When YNR's Ashley Abbott crossed over to produce the same in 2007, she and Eric weren't shut away eternally in her lab. Plus, as a previous co-CEO, Steffi should know that Carter is simply too busy to do anything other than have Daphne come to him with samples for him to sniff and approve or disapprove. Hope was really pleased about Daphne coming on board and raved to Steffi about it. Why is Hope even talking to Steffi? Liam's second baby mama just had Hope shame walk out of the company after pulling HFDF. You'd think Hope would be keeping her distance, to say nothing of being extremely dubious about Steffi arriving in the first place. Are there mind control vapors in Daphne's perfume a la Stefano Di Mera on days? Calling a spade heaven, and Earth also had to be relocated to plant Luna in Bill's house. Okay, let's go with Bill being able to draw enough of his resources to have Luna transported from prison to his mansion. It's a soap, sure, but this only works if no one goes to visit Luna in that prison. Granted, the only visitor Luna would have would be Poppy. But what happens when Poppy goes to the jail only to find that Luna isn't there? At least Bill isn't slipping into some love trap of Luna's, which I'd been dreading would happen from the time Bill even started entertaining Luna's letters. Bill has held hard in reminding Luna that he's not her father, and that what she did to Tom and Hollis and Poppy was so beyond terrible. For Luna's part, she amazingly has made no moves on Bill. Of course, we know she has another target now. It was seemingly reinforced this week that Luna's house arrest practically means Bill is bound to the house, too. He had to have understood any long-term absence from Spencer Publications would raise suspicions, which it did when Liam showed up and inquired into that very absence. Bill made up some work-from-home explanation, but Liam wasn't buying it. Liam wondered why Bill was suddenly isolating himself. I don't suppose Bill considered past getting Luna out of the clink. Otherwise, he would have imagined being asked these questions. His having placed everyone on alert by holing up with Sheila 2 years ago makes his actions suspect in terms of his family as well. Will had expressed his concerns with Liam, which was why Liam turned up on Bill's suddenly closed doorstep. Liam, it's LA. Even in Bel Air, you still gotta dead those bolts. Luna's new mission has been to watch Bill's relatives from her hiding location on the stairway. Wouldn't it be humorous if Luna also set her sights on Liam, and not just Will? They're both Bill's sons and Liam is genuinely unmarried. It shouldn't matter to Luna who of Bill's lads she aims at. Good thing Wyatt pieced out of Lala last year. Otherwise he could get caught up in this issue himself. Maybe having Taylor as a mother-in-law every few years provided Liam a crash course in psychology, because he conjectured that Bill was avoiding everyone following his negative experiences with Poppy and Luna. Why would Bill be doing that now, and not months ago, right after Luna's deception and Bill's separation from Poppy? Delayed reaction? Again, based on Bill harboring Sheila in 2023. Bill's comparable and cryptic change in behavior should be pinging on Liam's radar. I guess Liam's spensy senses must be operating on some level, though, as he could still feel Luna's energy throughout the house. Liam offered that Bill see Luna in prison so Bill could attempt some closure, which was actually a decent notion. You're all heart once Liam was gone. Luna stepped out from concealment and again informed Bill she didn't recognize herself as the person who had soullessly poisoned Tom and Hollis. Yeah, keep laying that on, Luna. We know you're lying like a rug, especially because B&B insists on having you say it over and over. Myself, I'll emphasize that I'm delighted that Bill isn't being misled by Luna's mea culpas. He keeps holding Luna to account. We did get some juicy morsels about Bill's childhood, an element of his life that has never really been explored in Don Diamant's nearly 16 years on the program. Bill explained that living with his mother had been chaotic at best. How I'd love to see this reenacted with a soap vet playing Mama Bill in flashbacks. Or bring his modern-day mom in for a few episodes. Maybe performed by Susan Lucci. Can't you just picture it? Bill also admitted that he hadn't realized who his dad was until he was older, saying that Bill Sr. had treated people like trash. Somewhat questionable, but I'll take it. We also found out that Sr. had persuaded Bill into joining Spencer. Who knew? It always feels like Bill was born behind that desk. Finding out otherwise was immensely fascinating. One thing that annoyed me, however, and I'll admit for personal reasons, was Bill proclaiming that what Luna went through as a kid was awful. Now it's true. Everyone's trauma is their own, and it's not up to anyone else to describe their experiences or tell someone how to feel about it. But Guy, Luna grew up with a flaky, sleep-around mom and didn't know who her father was. An unsettled childhood? Yes. But heinous? If I were Bill, I'd be more concerned about Luna revealing that she had merely hoped to find a kind, successful father. Why did a pop have to be successful? Luna gave herself away a bit there. But now we know why she was so outraged that scruffy, homeless Tom turned out to be her dad. Luna informed Bill that she just couldn't see any of Tom in her, neither in personality or resemblance. Could somebody else have fathered her after all? Join the club pretty much all of the week was oriented around that very possibility, which begs me to ask, why are we on this again? The mystery of Luna's paternity has been part of her character ever since she arrived in September 2023, and it seemed like it was finally solved last summer. For that matter, I still have issues with Luna being back at all. Usually, homicidal characters are killed off or hauled to prison, never to be heard from again. But it seems the program thought there was still gas in the tank of Luna's paternity tale. So here we go with its next phase. Case in point. Steffi, who suddenly understood why she had gone for Liam, a man with a divided heart, after growing up with a father with a divided heart, just as abruptly worried if Finn's parents would ever reunite. Finn said that there was still a lot he hadn't digested concerning his parents' divorce. Yeah, I think getting shot, being kept prisoner, having your crazed bio-mom released from jail, bathing your hand in your dead mom's blood, then encouraging your wife's sometime stepsister with massages, and becoming all outraged when that sometime stepsister came onto you all count as distractions. Let's be fair. Finn had to wonder if his adoptive dad turned real dad had cheated on Lee with other women than Sheila. And wouldn't you know, at that same moment, Lee was presenting the very same question, accusing Poppy of getting jacked up by Jack. After all, the DNA test Lee had conducted between Luna's blood and Tom's liver, which was still laying there for some reason, had turned out negative. Either I missed how Lee occurred to have a tube of Luna's blood, or I've already forgotten why that is. Whatever, I'll go with it. Lee ranted and raged to Poppy about Jack being another of Poppy's conquests and fathering Luna instead. But soon Lee had another audience member in the form of Jack, whom Lee had called. And here Jack had believed Lee had phoned because she'd mellowed out and wanted to reconnect with him. Surely Jack didn't assume Lee desired a reconciliation, as Steffi had envisioned earlier. B&B really ought to keep Jack around. I'd love to see him with Taylor. Hell, Taylor already has a father named Jack and a kid named Jack, so it wouldn't be anything Taylor isn't used to. Well, reality slammed Jack like a liver in the face. Same old paranoid Lee. He mumbled when he discovered his ex-wife had taken him to the hospital for the explicit goal of accusing him of popping Poppy. Jack felt horrible that Poppy was still having to face Lee's tirades. I'm pretty sure this was the first time that Jack and Poppy shared a scene together, so that was a wonderful way of connecting them together in a common history. No matter how many times Jack and Poppy denied ever having sex, Lee wouldn't believe it. Jack reminded Lee that she wasn't the only one who'd had a career that necessitated being away from home more than not. He'd been up to his eyeballs with his legal practice. Lee wasn't having any excuses and demanded that Jack submit to a DNA test of his own. Didn't know much about phlebotomy, but I bet it doesn't include stabbing the patient in the arm with a sampling needle. Oops. Did Lee miss the vein? Stabbity stab stab. Lee impaled Jack a second time. Well, it was bold, if nothing else. Lee was extremely overbearing. How the hospital's head of staff hasn't tagged her for anger management classes, I'll never know. Lee was positive that Jack was Luna's father. She was sure of it. Until she wasn't. The test undertaken to detect biological markers between her niece and ex-husband likewise came back negative. And then Lee burst into tears. She apologized sincerely to Poppy and Jack, and swore she would spend the rest of her life making it up to Poppy for her long-time animosity. What kind of sister does what I did to you? Lee wailed. Wow, that was one hell of a jump. It was so intense. Lee practically came off as bipolar to me. I would have bought it more if Lee had nearly wordlessly sent Jack and Poppy on their way. Then, in a week or two, visited them to say these things in a less theatrical approach. But you know, drama. Lee also indicated that if she had been a better sister to Poppy, Luna might not have slain Tom and Hollis. Now that's a bit of a stretch. Nevertheless, I suppose we now know why Lee has despised Poppy with such venom all this time. She assumed Poppy had had an affair with Jack, and that's plausible. Lee even indicated she had picked up on significant shame coming from Poppy the year that Poppy was staying with the Finnegans. I think, though, that with the revelation that Jack can't be Luna's father, it's evident that the guilt Lee detected in Poppy, and Lee's loathing of Poppy, originated from somewhere else. Let's not forget, the clue was provided last March that Finn might be Luna's father. Poppy wanted Finn to be a strong masculine presence in Luna's life, and had told Finn that Luna was conceived in love. Ever since, many of us have assumed that Finn wasn't Luna's cousin after all, but her dad. And, as of now anyway, those ideas seem to have been validated. Because, if Bill isn't Luna's father and Tom isn't and now Jack isn't, who does that leave? Finn was the only one we know of who was in close vicinity to Poppy. Plus, Lee and Jack weren't home much of the time, leaving Poppy and Finn alone together. Why Finn wouldn't recall having sex with Poppy isn't apparent, but it seems more and more plausible that they did the deed. Some of you have said Finn and Luna's ages don't tally up, but it might still work. While we know Luna is 21 today, Finn could be in his late 30s easily. He could have been 18 while Poppy stayed with his fam. Hell, Finn might have been 17. Underage folks have affairs with older adults all the time. Poppy having slept with Finn would add definite weight to how much Lee has always loathed Poppy. And it lends realism to Luna's deadly impulses as well. Because if Finn is Luna's father, then Sheila is Luna's grandmother. And wouldn't Steffi just go bananas to find out her spouse is linked to the two ladies who attacked her so viciously? I'm here for it. And that would make Dopey Finn lot more engaging as a character. Let's do it. What did you think of Father's Day in January, Scoopers? Do you agree or disagree with the likelihood that Finn could have fathered Luna? Would you like to see Jack stick around and romance a Forrester or Logan lady? Would it matter to Luna whose Spencer man she got with, as long as it was a Spencer man? Did you find that the specifics of Bill's youth and young adult life rounded out his persona more? And do you believe that Steffi's plan to regain control of Forrester Creations by smashing up Hope and Carter could work? Comment all you like below.
Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.